All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we got some spoilers to go over, okay? So we're going to have a pretty chill, pretty lighthearted video for today, going over some new PRB02 cards and OP13. That's right, okay? So you know what you're getting into. As usual, I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have any relevant links and stuff like that in the comments section below. Now, if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden, and their summer kickoff sale is live. They're offering 10 to 40% off site-wide across the entire store. For a limited time, get a free playmat tube with every Sun God playmat purchase while supplies last. Also, don't forget to use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an extra 10% off. Alright guys, let's get right into it. Spoiler warning up front here, guys. If you don't like seeing the new cards, now's your time. Now's your chance to escape right before we get into these spoilers. And the first card we're going to be going over is Monkey D. Luffy. We got a new green Luffy coming out here. 4-cost, 5,000 power, Supernova, Straw Hat Crew type character with a 1k counter. And this is a PRB02 card, as you can see at the top here. So PRB02. On your turn on play, if your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 7 or less Dawn cards on their field, at the start of your opponent's main phase, your opponent rests one of their active Dawn cards. Okay, so now it looks like we're seeing a new way for green to have some kind of interaction with your opponent, where with a card like this, you're attacking their Dawn before it becomes, well, basically right as it becomes active, before they can use it, before their main phase, or I guess at the start of the main phase, so right before they can use something, they're going to have to rest down a Dawn. Okay, so that's an interesting interaction there for green, and I think it's actually very powerful. I think this card's actually a pretty solid character, because what you're going to be able to do is if you play this out, let's just say you're playing on curve, right? Let's say, so you're going second, turn 1, your opponent plays out a Searcher, turn 1 for you, you play out a Searcher, now they're on 3 Dawn, they play something out, and now on your 4 Dawn turn, if your leader's multicolored, and your opponent has 7 or less Dawn, of course they'll have 7 or less Dawn on turn 2, right? Well, now you're going to be able to lock down their Dawn for next turn. So instead of them going up to 5 Dawn, they'll actually be on 4 Dawn. Right? Well, excuse me. They will technically be on 5 Dawn, right? They'll be on 5 Dawn, but they're only going to have access to 4 of those Dawn. And now you're going into a 6 Dawn turn afterwards because you're going 2, 4, 6, and they were trying to go 1, 3, 5. So I do actually really like this card, and I think this is a cool, interesting way to approach green, where it's similar to how purple had Dawn Destruction, right, with Magellan. You know, purple had access to a card like Magellan that could just destroy Dawn cards. And with green being able to lock down Dawn, excuse me, it's not brand new to green or anything at this point. They have had that for a while now with like 5-cost Jewelry Bonney and other cards like that. But now we have a way to attack their Dawn before they get a chance to use it. Right? I mean, even if they had all their Dawn attached here and there and wherever, you're going to be able to say, okay, on my 4 Dawn turn, I'm going to play this out, and now you're only going to have 4 Dawn to work with next turn if you're playing this out on curve. But even if you're playing out, like, say you're on the odd curve and you go 1, 3, 5, playing this out on 5 Dawn is probably not the worst thing either, because now instead of them going up to 6 Dawn, they'll go to 6 Dawn, but they'll only be able to use 5 of it. And then from there, you can chain this with something like a 5-cost Jewelry Bonney. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this card and this direction for green. This is much more interesting to me. I've expressed this a few times on the channel here, how I feel about green as a color, and it just wasn't very interesting to me before, and I just didn't really care for it. I didn't really like it. But now, as we're seeing more options for green, stuff like this, I am a big fan of this. Okay, and there are some things about green I do like the like green, yellow Trafalgar Law. I really like the idea of like standing characters, pulling them back, and doing tricks like that. And I did always kind of enjoy red-green Trafalgar Law way back in the day. This card here, this is very interesting to me, and I can't wait to mess around with this one. So really good stuff here. This new Luffy is probably going to find a spot in just about any multicolor deck that's running green. I wonder. Now, I'm not saying it will necessarily find a place in every deck that's, you know, multicolored running green. Like, for example, I don't know if green-purple law will have room for something like this, but it could potentially take the spot of something like the green, the 4-cost Rush Zoro, right? It's like a pseudo Rush. It's like 4 cost, rest down to 4 or less, and then if your opponent has 2 or more characters, he can attack into characters for the turn. It might be, you know, maybe it'll take the place of something like that for the you know, for the lists that are running that. But other than that, I will say later in the game, the card does lose a little bit of power. Because notice what it says, your leader has to be multicolored, and your opponent has to have 7 or less Dawn cards. So once they reach 8, 9, 10 Dawn, you can't really use this card. It's just a 1k counter in hand. I mean, I guess you can play it out. You know, you can always play it out as a body. But other than that, you know, it's just a 4-cost 5k with a 1k counter at that point. It doesn't really have an effect after they hit 8 or more Dawn. So whatever the case is, really cool card here. And check out the art for it. Looks incredible. Both of these arts look really, really nice. The standard and the alt art. Good stuff here. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And as usual, guys, please tell me what you think about these cards down in the comment section below. I could see something like this being really, really annoying to go against. I'll say that right now, because imagine early on locking down their Dawn. You're slowing them down so much, you know, and you're still developing on curve, and you basically slowed their curve down. I wonder if there's going to be like a way to do some type of special like combo. I'm not exactly sure about the timing and the ruling here, but imagine your opponent is on 7 Dawn, right? And you're on 8 Dawn, okay? And you go, okay, play out 2 of these in 1 turn. So again, if your leader's multicolored and your opponent has 7 or less Dawn cards in their field, at the start of your opponent's main phase, your opponent rests one of their active Dawn cards. So if you played 2 of these out on your 8 Dawn turn and they were on a 7 Dawn turn, they basically stay on a 7 Dawn turn. You know what I mean? If I'm understanding the timing on this card correctly and the translation's correct, I think you'll be able to lock down 2 Dawn in 1 turn. That could be pretty interesting. Good stuff there. We'll have to see how this goes. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and move on to Lucky Roo here. Okay, we have a 4-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, Red Hair Pirates character with blocker. And on play, you may trash 1 character card with 6,000 or more power from your hand and draw 2 cards. Okay, let's bring the art up for this one. Check it out. Very cool. This card is excellent for Red Hair Pirates especially. I mean, this is just a good... Let me see something real quick. You may trash 1 character card with 6,000 power or more from your hand and draw 2 cards. So, guys, this is actually just a good card in any red deck. I'm always thinking of Rayleigh now. Whenever I'm thinking of red cards now, the immediate thing that goes to my mind is how good will this be in red, yellow Sabo and red Rayleigh. This is another PRB02 card here, and I think this card's excellent. You can use this in pretty much any deck that's running red. You play out a 4-cost blocker. It's not like a big blocker, it's just 2,000 power, so it will be kind of easy to deal with, no matter what the form of removal is. It doesn't have a lot of evasion. But hey, it's a 1k counter in hand, it's a blocker on the board, and if you have 6,000 power characters in your hand, extras that you can trash for this effect to draw to, seems pretty good to me. I'm a huge fan of this. And hang on, let me think about this for a second. You may trash 1 character card with 6,000 power, 6,000 or more power from your hand to draw 2 cards. I wonder how this will be in Red-Black Sabo in OP12. Or I guess OP12.5 whenever PRB comes out. That could be very interesting. Filling up your trash, drawing cards, getting a blocker on the board. Now, you won't be able to protect this blocker very easily because it's a 2,000 power blocker, but who cares? If they're wasting removal on this little 4-cost, 2,000 power blocker, be my guest. But imagine with a card like this in something like Red Black Sabo, okay, I'm going to play this out on 4. Let's just say we're going out second, so turn 1 search or whatever. Turn 2 we play this out on 4, trashing something we want to get back later in the game, like Nico Robin maybe, or the 5-cost 6k Ivankov. We'll trash that and we'll draw 2 cards and we have a blocker to eat up an attack. Guys, this might be this is an incredible card. Let me tell you right now, this is an incredibly useful, versatile blocker that I think Red sorely needed. For those who are kind of newer to the game, Red used to be too strong, like way back in the beginning of the game when it first came out. The original colors were red, green, blue, and purple. Black and yellow didn't exist in the game in set 1. Black came into the game in set 2, and then yellow in set 3. And in the very beginning of the games, you know, in the history of the beginning of this game's history, red was pretty dominant. Okay, red was very, very strong for a while. I think it was like by, you know, set 2, 3, and 4 was almost completely dominated by red, unfortunately. There were a few different leaders that were doing it, like Zoro, even Luffy back then, like Starter Deck 01 Luffy, and Edward Newgate, of course, when that came out. And even Red, Green, Trafalgar Law, it's just red was everywhere, you know what I mean? And because of that, I think they nerfed red for like 5 sets in a row. They basically just didn't print anything too strong for red until we got to Shanks and probably Silver's Rayleigh, right? So like OP08, OP09 is where they started, you know, putting their foot back on the gas pedal for red. But this was something that I think red sorely needed, a way to draw cards, and it's good to see this coming out here. And hey, with this being Red Hair Pirate searchable, maybe Shanks will be able to run this and get some kind of value from this in a Red Hair Pirates type of deck. We'll have to see, because it's hard. I will say this. When it comes to Shanks, I couldn't imagine running that leader without 8-cost Silver's Rayleigh. So even if you do try to run the 1-cost Searcher Uda, going over Rayleigh seems terrible. Excuse me. But yeah, this card right here, incredible. Huge fan of this. I think this is going to be a great card moving forward for anything splashing red. I'm even trying to imagine, like, okay, can I take advantage of this in red, yellow, Sabo? Because I'm going to try to. This is an incredible card. Maybe with something like this, I can play this out, you know, draw some cards with it, and just have a blocker on the board. Just who cares if it gets taken care of? And that will curve perfectly into 6 Dawn, into the yellow, the 6-cost 7K yellow, Kuma, the new Kuma coming out in OP12. Really good stuff here. Big fan of this card. Okay, next up we have Ace and Sabo and Luffy. Let me go ahead and go full screen with this. Check out this art, guys. Looks really, really good. The art on this card is excellent. And check it out. Okay, hey, I don't know Japanese, but I know it's a 1-cost, 1,000 power, 2K counter character. Let's go ahead and check out what it does. Okay, it is Goa Kingdom. Activate main. You may trash this character and give 1 active Dawn card to one of your leaders or characters. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Okay, so let's read that one more time. It's a 1-cost, and this is an OP13 card, guys. So remember, the first 2 cards we looked at, this Lucky Roo and this Luffy, these are PRB02 cards, okay? This card is OP13. This is an OP13 card, 1-cost, 1,000 power, 2K counter, Goa Kingdom type. With Activate main, trash this character and give 1 active Dawn card to one of your leaders or characters. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. So right up front here, I will say that this it is a solid card, but it's a little bit odd the way it is. Because it's kind of like a souped-up version of Gordon, or Raise Max, or Building Snake, or something like that. It's like a souped-up version of those cards, because, number one, it costs 1 extra, right? Because you have to pay 1, and then, what did it say? Like, give an active Dawn card? Let me see something. You may trash this character and give 1 active Dawn card to one of your leaders or characters. So you're going to give an active Dawn card to someone. So this basically costs 2 Dawn, right? To trash this card and then give a character minus 3,000 power for the turn. Yeah, I think this is just a nice, solid utility 2K counter. Will this take the place of something like Otama? Probably not. I'm just being honest, guys. It probably won't, right? Because think about the removal we already have in red with, like, let's just say Silver's Rayleigh or Ben Beckman. Those both hit 6,000 power characters kind of as a default. And by using Otama with that for 1 Dawn investment, you can hit an 8,000 power character. But I guess being able to hit a 9,000 power is a little bit better. So maybe this does find its way into more red decks. Maybe you run this and Otama. Maybe there's a world where you run this and Otama. Who knows? You can just set this on the board and use it later, assuming there's not much removal against who you're going against. Or, you know, if there's not much removal in the deck you're going against. This could find room in a... I'm trying to think, like, okay, this is a Goa Kingdom card and it's red, so you can't run this in yellow-black Luffy. You can't run this in yellow-blue Ace, but you can run this in yellow-red Sabo. And I know I put yellow. I usually like to keep things in color order, like it should have been, you know, black, yellow, blue, yellow, red, yellow, but just trying to say that all the other 3 brothers are yellow. So unless there's a new leader coming out in OP13 that's going to be Goa Kingdom 3 brothers related, is this card meant for Sabo? because this is not what Sabo does, guys. This effect here, activate main, trash this character, give one active Dawn card to one of your leaders or characters, and give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Yeah, that's not really a Sabo-style effect there, but I guess we can try to make use of it. I mean, I guess, like, you know, us Red Yellow Sabo mains and players over here, we can try to make use of this card. But generally speaking, we already have a 2-cost 3K in that deck in Koala. Right, we have a 2-cost 3,000 power 2K counter character named Koala that we already have that effect on, and we don't have to attach an active Dawn. You know, it's just, I guess you could see that as a perk. Like, see this, you could basically see this card as a 2-cost 1,000 power 2K counter, and then attach one of the Dawn you use to play it to a character or a leader for the turn. Like, that's the way mentally you can see this card. But I don't really think we, I don't know. I'm going to try not to spend too much time on this one. I'm just going to say this. I'm not super impressed by this card, and I don't really think it's going to be great for Red Yellow Sabo, because Red Yellow Sabo right now is running a very strong list that's very, very aggressive, running the Goa Kingdom package, and we're not really super concerned with an effect like this. We'll just run Otama, right? Or we'll just run the Koala, because we already have access to a 2-cost version that does minus 3K. We just won't get the extra Dawn with it. But who knows? You guys tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. Am I missing something? Is this meant for another leader maybe? And who knows? We don't know what leaders are coming out for OP13 yet. This could be perfect for some of the support we see in OP13, and that could change my mind. Either way, though, it's a solid utility 2K counter. I'm not trying to, you know, dismiss that. This is just a good quality universal 2K counter you can run in any deck that's running red. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Bonney. Really cool looking picture here. Check that out. Okay, she's like falling. She's like falling backwards. Looks really awesome. Bonney, green character, PRB02. This is a 3-cost, 3,000 power Supernova Bonney Pirates character with a 1K counter and blocker. And then on your opponent's attack, once per turn, set up to one of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, so this seems like it's very clearly meant for Bonney, the actual leader Bonney, because you're setting a Dawn as active on your opponent's attack, right? On your opponent's turn, on their attack, you're going to be able to set a Dawn as active so you can use your leader effect to rest down a character or leader. Really good stuff here, and this is like properly, appropriately costed and everything. It's a 3-cost Supernova blocker, and it has a 1K counter, so it's like a perfect target to cheat out now with your 8-cost Eustace kid. So really good stuff here. Big fan of this card for green for Bonney, but other than that, I couldn't really see this card seeing play in anything else. Actually, let me think about that for just a second longer here. I think this could potentially see play in other green decks, because we are starting to see way more of the 1-cost events in the game. Like, let me just pull something up real quick and think of it like this. Let me I'm going to go over to the sim real quick, and we're going to bring up some cards. And if I just bring up the events for every color, like I'll bring up green first because that's what color the card's in. There are a lot of 1-cost events in the game now, like this. Here we go. So Gum Gum Elephant Gatling, this came out in OP11. Counter, 3K counter, right? And then it has a main effect here to rest an additional Dawn, so pay 2 basically and rest down a 5 or less. Then we have Vagabond Drill, that's a 3K counter, and then you could rest a 3-cost or lower. Let me see something real quick. Is it locked to a leader? No, this is a very universal, like, generic card here. Blocker on your opponent's attack once per turn, set up to one of your Dawn cards as active. So maybe there could be something here, guys, because there are some cards, even like this Dead Man's Game here. We're starting to see way more of these 1-cost green, well, not green, these 1-cost, I call them 3K counters, one cost 3K utility counters for leaders, because what they do is they allow you to counter out of your leader only. You can't protect the board with these cards, but they have an extra layer of, you know, utility with their main effect. So yeah, maybe this card will actually see play now that we're seeing more of these 1K counters that have utility built in. So who knows? Maybe this card will see more play outside of just Bonney, but going back to that, I do think this card is perfectly made for Bonney. Really good stuff here. Not too much more to say on this one. Just a generically solid card that helps out any kind of green deck that wants to leave a Dawn active on their opponent's turn. Okay, next up we have Mr. 3 Galdino. This is a 2-cost, 1,000 power, cross-guild, former Baroque Works type character with a 1K counter, and it has This effect can be activated when this character is rested by your opponent's effect. You may trash this character, and if you do, draw 2 cards, and it is a blocker. So, okay, again, one thing I'm noticing about these PRB cards, now almost all of these have been PRB with the exception of this Ace, Sabo, and Luffy so far. These are very generically good cards. And what I mean by that is, notice this. Now, okay, other than this Luffy, you do have to play in a multicolored leader. Other than this Luffy, this Lucky Roo can be played in any red deck. It doesn't matter who your leader is, doesn't matter what color pool you're running with, it's just good. Same thing with, honestly, the same thing with this Ace, Sabo, and Luffy. There is no restriction I see on here. So, I mean, you can run this in any deck that's running red. But back to the PRB cards here, this Bonney, just good in every single green deck that you want to run it in, as long as you have something to play on your opponent's turn for 1 Dawn. So even if you're not playing Bonney, maybe a 1-cost event that you can 3k counter out for your leader. That helps you get around the 7k attacks and stuff like that. Really good stuff here. And now we see this Mr. 3 Galdino. Notice this, guys. There's no restriction on here. This is not, I mean, I know a lot of people will read this and go, oh, Cross Guild, former Baroque Works. Yeah, this is like a buggy card, right? Maybe not. I mean, I'm not saying you couldn't run it in buggy, but guys, this might not even be a buggy card. This is just a solid utility blocker for blue. This effect can be activated when this character is rested by your opponent's effect, and then you're going to be able to trash this character and draw 2 cards, and it has a blocker. So they're not just going to rest this blocker down. Now, it's funny. There's never like a perfect card out there that just cannot be interacted with at all, right? Like even like Kuzan, the 5-cost. Like, let me just bring up this card. Every single card has some type of weakness, and that's probably a good thing, right? But like if we go to Kuzan for Blackbeard Pirates, the 5-cost one, a lot of people read this card and go, man, that's a 5-cost 5k, and this character cannot be removed from the field by my opponent's effects. Well, how do I interact with this card? Well, it's easy, right? You just rest it down and then attack into it. Right, that's the way to deal with it. And every single card has some type of weakness, and that's called balance, right? That's completely fine. But with effects like this, where it's like, oh, well, you can't rest the card down. It's like, well, number one, they still can rest the card down, right? Yes, you can trash this card then and draw 2 cards to help compensate for losing the blocker, but that's not going to help you get out of some like super massive attack. At least that's my thoughts on it, right? It's like, well, wait a minute. They can still rest the card down, and now I don't have a blocker, and I get to draw 2 cards. You could draw 2 2k counters. You could draw 2 bricks. You never know, right? It is what it is. But with this card, I think that's the worst form of evasion or like protection for a card, where it's like, okay, even compensation, whatever you want to call it in this case, because you're going to draw 2 cards. It just says this effect can be activated when this character is rested by your opponent's effect. Okay, well, black's like, oh, okay, I'll just go ahead and just KO it, right? Or blue's like, yeah, I'll just bottom deck. It seems good, and now you just have you just wasted 2 Dawn on a blocker that just didn't really do anything. But who knows? Tell me if I'm missing something, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm not a huge fan of this card, but it is an upgrade on like what I call the 2-cost vanilla blockers. A common stat line you'll see in the game of One Piece. I'm just going to bring this up real quick. Like a common stat line you'll see in the game amongst all colors is like this 2-cost, I call it a vanilla blocker. So check this out. So Fasa, he's a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter blocker, right? Bunny Joe, same exact thing, but for Revo Army, right? This is Whitebeard Pirates. Here's the Revo Army one. Here's the Drum Kingdom one, and you'll pretty much see this across the board. Here's the Punk Hazard one. They're all over the place. Here's a Red Navy one, and you'll see this in every single color if you go through it. And there are souped up versions like what we see with Rosinante, and like with what we're seeing with Mr. 3 Galdino. We'll talk about more in a second. But this is a very standard blocker line here of just the 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter blocker. You'll find them all over the place in the game. But it is nice to find a version that's basically a souped up, upgraded version of that. Because at the end of the day, the extra 1,000 power is not going to mean much. I'd rather sacrifice the power for some type of beneficial effect. And that's what this does, right? And that's what this card achieves. Okay, it's basically a vanilla 2-cost blocker, but you lose 1,000 power for an additional layer of protection, even if it's not the greatest form of protection by, resting it down. But still, if they do try to rest this down to go for lethal with like a Hody Jones or some type of green effect or purple effect or whatever, okay, well, I'm going to get to draw 2 cards and maybe be able to survive through that. Okay, not much more to talk about here, but this is a really solid card. Okay, next up we have Nami. This is a purple character with a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1k counter, Straw Hat Crew is the type. It has trigger to play this card, and then on play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type card other than Nami, and then add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Yeah. So we were talking about this card on stream last night. We did go over these cards on stream last night. For those who are not aware, I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 9 p.m. Eastern to 12 a.m., okay, right here on YouTube on the VV Theory channel. And we were talking about this card right here on stream yesterday. And, man, number one, the art looks incredible. And number two, what an incredible card. It's like, I don't know how much more they want to give Purple Straw Hats. It's one of those things where it's like, man, let's just keep giving them more and more and more. And I think this card will probably go into most Purple Straw Hat decks. And now, like, think about it like this. If you're running red-purple Luffy, okay, well, now you can go the 1-cost red Nami and the 2-cost purple Nami. If you're going green-purple Luffy, then you can go the 1-cost green Nami, and now the 2-cost purple Nami. If you're going blue-purple, I guess that one's probably the roughest one, where you have to go the 1-cost beige, the blue beige, and then like this card, and then you could just start building these more aggressive decks from that. And you kind of, you can go straight down the line with that kind of idea. Even now, one leader I think did need this card is Nico Robin. I think for Nico Robin, this card is awesome. This card's going to be great in Nico Robin. Now, unfortunately, it cannot search up the 5-cost Nami, because, they're both named Nami. Actually, let me see something. With the way that this is like in the Land of Wano attire or whatever that is, I thought that this might be Onami, and that would have been really nice if it's actually Onami, because then it would be able to search up the yellow 5-cost Nami. Let me bring that up real quick. In Nico Robin, this one here. But if they both have the same name, then you're not going to be able to search it up. But yeah, check out this card, guys. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type card other than Nami, and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Just an incredible searcher effect here. I think every deck will probably be able to make this work, because even like green-purple Luffy, which is a pretty tight list so far, a lot of them were still running the purple event. Okay, I typed in pirates, thought that would bring up when you're at sea, you fight pirates. Let me see something, and it didn't even bring that one up. Let me type in fight. I think this is it, right? Yeah, I've seen a lot of decks running this searcher event in green-purple Luffy. Okay, and it makes sense. Okay, it's a 1-cost searcher. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 Straw Hat, Kid Pirates, or Heart Pirates type card and add to your hand, then place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And it has trigger to activate this card's main effect here, right? Well, here's the thing. Yes, this does cost 1 more Dawn, but it has the same trigger. So the trigger is still the exact same, but you're doing a top 5 search for a Straw Hat card. And then this also has a 1K counter on it. So this card, I think, is just a strict upgrade for something like green-purple Luffy. And I just think this is a good card. Now, this is PRB. This is a PRB card here. But yeah, this is an excellent searcher for Straw Hat Crew. I don't think there's going to be too much complaining about this card. Because like I said, now we're seeing multiple searchers for Straw Hat in pretty much every color. The only colors that are lacking right now, I think, are black and blue. I think those are the only ones that don't really have a strict 1-cost Nami searcher to them. Maybe yellow as well. Yeah, actually, I think yellow also does not have one, but still, red and green already have a 1-cost searcher Nami. So when you start adding a 2-cost searcher as well, yeah, it gets a little scary. That does get a little scary in my opinion, but no, this is a really good card here. What do you guys think about this? Did Purple really need something like this? I'm kind of curious about that. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But man, the art looks good on this. Guys, let's just appreciate it for what it is, and it's just really, really good art. Okay, and a really good searcher, has a trigger. There's just no downside to this card, guys. There's just strictly no downside to this card. And I wonder if we compare this to something like Shura, because we have seen a card like this before in yellow for Calgara. Yeah, I mean, this is basically Shura for Straw Hat Crew in purple, by the way. That's the really crazy part about it, is like, imagine what we've seen in the past. So for yellow, you would expect a really powerful searcher like this in the 2-cost spot, because yellow's also like the trigger life color, right? Or the life trigger color, however you want to say it. But if you look at Luffy from the past here, watch this. This one's a little bit different, but check out this Luffy from way back in the day, back in OP06 now. 2-cost, 3,000 power, and 1K counter. This just does a top 3 search for film cards, And then the trigger is activate this character's on play ability, so it doesn't actually put the character into play. Let me see that. Does this this just says play this card, so then you get the on play effect from this one, and the same thing with Shura. But guys, look at this. I thought this was going to be the way they dealt with cards getting searchers from triggers in other color pools, whereas yellow was going to have the ability to play the card, bring it in onto the board, and go from there for tempo, because that's kind of yellow's gimmick, right? That's yellow's thing. And then, okay, if other colors are going to have the ability to have, like, searchability off of the trigger on bodies, then maybe it'll just be like this, where, like, okay, it just activates the on-play effect. Yes, I understand this card has 1,000 more power, but I don't think anyone's going to argue with me when I say something like this card is just better in every way, shape, and form. They both have they both cost 2. They're both the 1k counter. They both have a trigger effect, but here's the difference. This Nami loses 1,000 power to be able to do a top 5 search for a Straw Hat Crew type character other than Nami. And I guess the Luffy can search itself up, right? I think. Hang on, let me check. Let me check real quick. He is a film card. So yeah, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 film type card out your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So there are some differences, but I think this card is still just strictly better. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Really good card for purple Straw Hats. I don't think they're going to be complaining too much about this one. Okay, next up we got Shiryu. First of all, check out this art. That looks so awesome. The blacks, the reds, the whites, oh man. These are my colors. I mention this from time to time, guys, but I come from Magic the Gathering. Okay, that was like my roots in the TCG world about 15 years ago, a little over 15 years ago now, and that's where my roots come from in trading card games. And one of my favorite colors in that game, one of my favorite color combinations. For the One Piece players, this will sound crazy, but you can have more than 2 color combinations in Magic the Gathering. You can go all the way up to 5 colors, because there's 5 colors in the game, but you can go as low as 1 color. So you have full freedom when it comes to deck building. And one of my favorite color combinations in that game was white, red, and black. It was called Mardu. And that was one of my absolute favorite color combinations in the game. So seeing that white, red, and black, it brings back that nostalgia, first of all. It like triggers a core memory for me. And man, this card looks excellent. Okay, now let's read what it actually does. Shiryu is a 4-cost, 5,000 power Blackbeard Pirates type character with a 1k counter, and this is a PRB02 card. It says if your leader has the Blackbeard type, this character gains blocker and +4 cost. We'll talk about that more in a minute, okay? On KO, if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 4 or less. Okay, so it looks like we might have a new generic style blocker within the black color pool. Because check this out, guys. This is what I was saying. Like, we're going to talk about that more in a minute. Look at this card. This is a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter hack that has, he's a Fishman, Dressrosa, Revo Army type character with, if your leader has the Revo Army type, this character gains blocker and +4 cost. Oh, sounds familiar. This is, and you know, just like with Shiryu, and listen to this on KO effect. The exact same thing, guys. On KO, if your leader has the Revo Army type, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 4 or less. Yeah, this is just a really, really strong blocker. And I really feel like Lucky Roo was the first blocker we ever saw do something like this. For those, and I'm not talking about the one we just looked at, the new one coming out for PRB02. But if you look at Lucky Roo that came out back in OP09, I believe it was. Yeah, here it is, this one. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter blocker. That part's not locked to a leader like the other 2 are, but listen to this. On KO, if your leader has the Red Hair Pirates type, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with an original power of 6,000 or less. I can't remember if there was a card before Lucky Roo that was really trying to just remove your opponent's board as a blocker and going off of base cost, or base power in this case. Or original power, original cost. I'm not sure if that has existed before Lucky Roo, but I feel like ever since then we're starting to see it ramp up, because it does need to be said that that kind of blocker ability and that kind of like insurance on a card, it does need to exist. Because if you're playing out a character and your opponent can just keep matching every time you play out a character with a character of their own that just removes your character, well, it becomes a very one-dimensional game at that point, where it's like, okay, I play out a card. Look at this really cool blocker I'm playing out. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to play out a card that just removes it. Oh, Okay, I'm going to play out another card next turn. Okay, I'm going to play out another character that just removes it, right? And that's what really gave rise to something I've said before on the channel. I've mentioned it before. When it comes to playing One Piece, if you're not playing out a character that removes a character, then you need to be playing out a character that develops multiple characters. That's kind of the winning formula to how to play One Piece, right? You either need to be flooding the board or playing characters that remove cards from the board, right? That's kind of like the mentality that I have for this game when it comes to designing. And not just designing a deck that works, but making play lines that work for the game. If you're not answering your opponent's characters, you need to be putting a bunch of stuff on your board that your opponent can't really answer. That's kind of the mentality there. And that's probably card games as a whole. But here's the thing. These blockers, they kind of go against the grain here, right? Where it's like, whoa, I'm playing out a 4-cost 5K. I'm not developing a character, but I'm also not removing a character. However, if you want to try to deal with my card, I'm going to remove your character. So it's kind of inversely working in that way, and I am a big fan. I do really like that. Sorry that was a little bit clumsy, guys. Hopefully y'all understand what I was saying. But whatever the case is, I'm a huge fan of this blocker being a 4-cost 5K with a 1K counter, and it's an 8-cost blocker. It only costs 4, but it counts as an 8-cost blocker on the field that also has ways to protect it with this on KO stuff. Really, really big fan of this card. I think this one's really nice. And again, as usual, guys, please tell me what y'all think about some of these cards in the comments section below. I really want to hear what y'all think about this. This is another one where I'll ask, just to be fair to Nami and to the Purple Straw Hat crew players up here, is this something Blackbeard really needed? Notice this is a completely leader-locked card, and this is a PRB02 card. Now, yes, we saw with Luffy, that was locked to multicolored leaders, the 4-cost green Luffy we looked at earlier, but this card is locked to Blackbeard Pirates specifically, like exclusively Blackbeard Pirates type leaders. I didn't expect to see that in something like in a PRB set, especially after seeing what we saw earlier with Mr. 3 Galdino being totally universal and generic. Bonney, same thing. Even from, well, this is from OP13, but the Ace Sabo and Luffy. But this Lucky Roo is completely open. I can run this in any red leader or leader that runs red in its color pools. So seeing this card from PRB02, this Shiryu being locked to Blackbeard, very interesting, but very, very powerful card. Good stuff here. Okay. Next up, we have Otama. We have a, Otama is a yellow 2-cost 0 power Land of Wano character with a 2K counter. Okay, 2,000 power counter, guys. Can't dismiss that. And then trigger, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. And then activate main, you may rest this character and add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. And then up to one of your leader or characters gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. So I don't really see this card being used in any deck except Blue-Yellow Ace. I'm going to be honest. I mean, maybe you'll try this in a Green-Yellow Yamato deck in the future or some type of yellow Land of Wano deck. But this is a PRB02 card. You can technically run this in any yellow deck. There is no restriction. There is no lockdown. But get this, guys. Activate main, rest this character, and add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. And then up to one of your leader or characters gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. So what am I trying to do with that, right? Like, that becomes the question. What exactly do I want to do with that? I'm not exactly sure. Now, with Blue-Yellow Ace, I'll show you what I want to do with it. So with Blue-Yellow Ace, what you're going to be able to do is combo the new Otama with this Kazuki Odin. Like, that's going to be potentially very powerful. Let me explain how that works. So, number one, you're still going to be burning a life card, right, with the Otama. Well, Ace gets around that. If you attach 2 Dawn to your Ace, to your leader Blue-Yellow Ace, you can add a card from the top 5 of your, you'll look at the top 5 cards from your deck, and then you'll add a 5-cost card to the top of your life. Okay, well, the Otama is going to be able to use that card, because otherwise, notice at the bottom of this leader here, for those who are not very familiar with Ace, at the end of your turn, you have to send all face-up cards in your life to the trash. And when you're using the Dawn ×2 activate main effect there, you're looking for a 5-cost card, and you're putting it face-up in your life. So at the end of the turn, that card's going to be gone if you don't use it right away. So Otama is going to be able to use that card to buff our leader or buff something on the board and then get the card to our hand. Instead of losing the card at the end of turn, we're not even going to lose a life, right? Because we gained the life by using this. We're just breaking even on life, and we're drawing the card to our hand, and then we're buffing something on the board. And if we combo that excuse me, if we combo that with another very powerful Land of Wano card, you know, by the way, I just want to mention that both Land of Wano, maybe there will be something there, we'll have to see. But if we can combo that with Kazuki Odin, okay, well, now we're swinging for 11 twice in one turn, right? Because let's just say we established Odin on the turn before. So now we're going into it. Let's just say it was a 7 Dawn turn, right on curve and all that good stuff. Now going on to a 9 Dawn turn, look what we can do. 2 Dawn on our leader, right? We'll put 2 Dawn on the leader to use our leader effect to put a card into our life. We play out the Otama for 2 Dawn, and we take that card, right? With the Otama, we take the top life card we set there with our leader, and then we buff this Odin by 3,000. So we just drew a card, and then we, you know, buff this Odin by 3,000. Now we get to swing in for 11, use his effect, paying 3 to return the card to our hand. That was 7 Dawn right there. We still have 2 more Dawn to play with for the turn. Maybe we develop a blocker or do some other trick. Maybe we even use Zeus to pop one of their characters. We have a lot of other options from there. Maybe we even just replay out the Otama and say, hey, you're going to have to deal with this card with removal, or I'm going to use it again next turn and do the same exact thing. Okay, so with blue-yellow ace, I can see where this card would make a lot of sense, right? This card makes a lot of sense in there, and it is a 2K counter. But in any of the other decks, you'll have to, guys, tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. What else could we use this card for realistically? Maybe in yellow. I always try to help out, man. Yellow Yamato. I've said some mean things about that leader in the past, guys. I'm not a huge fan of that leader. Yellow, I think it was a ST09 Yamato. I'll even bring it up real quick. Let me type in Yamato. This one right here, yeah, ST09 Yamato. Maybe you can use the card if they're trying to prevent you from going down to 2 life. Maybe you can combo it with this leader here to, you know, take your life, you know, so that way they can't starve you, and then you can Dawn ×1 to get stronger. I don't know. You guys tell me out. I'm trying to help this leader out in whatever way I can. Maybe there's no helping it. But yeah, and maybe we can also, if we get the card on the board, if we get the 2-cost Otama on the board, and then on the next turn, if it survives by the next turn, you know, that is asking a lot of a 2-cost card in this game with such low power, with no prevention. It's probably going to be very easy for your opponent to deal with, but who knows, maybe they'll just ignore it, or maybe you have other targets on the board they have to deal with. Well, maybe you'll be able to take a life card and then gain it right back with something like this 9-cost Yamato. I don't know. Other than that, though, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this card. The art looks incredible on it. Like, check out this art, guys. Got the hand extended, reaching out to us. You know, super happy face here. Really, really beautiful art here, and I love the colors as well. The colors actually go very well with the yellow border there. Looks really good. But anyway, I like this card, and I'm going to try to make it work in blue-yellow ace, but I couldn't imagine many other leaders, any other decks, really trying to run this card. Right, we'll have to see what happens. Again, I'm open to ideas, guys. Tell me in the comment section below if you've cooked up something really cool with this character here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Zoro. Now, this is not a new card. This is the 9-cost, 9,000 power secret Zoro that can attack 3 times in a turn. Right. Let me just bring it up over here for people who want to, for the people who don't know what it does. It is this one right here. Be sure to pause and read this if you want to know exactly what it does if you don't already know. But the card we just saw is a French version of this card in an alternate art version, which is really cool to see. So again, here it is. It's like an alt art version of the 9-cost Secret Zoro. Looks really cool. This is the fight here between Zoro and King. Sorry, a little bit of a spoiler, but I mean, you could see it on the card. It's not like I can prevent that at this point, right? And hey, we already gave a spoiler warning earlier. That's right. We're off the hook on this one, right? We're good to go. I'm just kidding. But no, this is Zoro versus King here. Really great looking piece of art. I personally still like the standard secret art one. I think that one looks extremely good. I think this one is very, very clean. Well done. I love like the green flames everywhere. I just think this one looks really, really good. Okay, but that's just me. That's just personal preference. Okay, and that's it. We will look through a few of these PRB02 reveals and talk about it. So this is a new card that will be reprinted in PRB02. You love to see stuff like this, guys. This should drive the price down of Usohachi, which I think in the last Market Watch video we looked at, I think this card was somewhere in the $10 range, $8 to $10 range. So seeing this getting hit in a reprint, you love to see it. That should drive the price down. Then we have, this is the Searcher event for Shanks. Okay, this is the 1-cost red search event for Shanks. This is going to be reprinted in a manga version. Very cool. Now this is really nice to see, guys. Anytime they have promo cards in the premium booster reprint stuff, I love seeing that, and this card looks excellent. Really good looking law here. Man, I think I like it with the border on the card versus the one without the border, the Japanese promo. I actually think I like this one better because it's like in the SR silver border. Really nice looking card here. And this is the promo law, 4 cost, 5,000 power, 2k counter. And then it has, I think the trigger is if you and your opponent have 5 or less cards, if you and your opponent have 5 or less life cards altogether, you can trash a card to play this card. It's something along those lines. Actually, we can read it right now, can't we? Let me bring that up real quick for anyone who's curious as to what that card does. Yeah, for the trigger, the trigger is if your leader has the supernova type and you and your opponent's life total is 5 or less. Okay, just play the card. Sorry, I saw that print on there. I thought maybe you have to discard a card to play it. You don't even have to discard a card. You and your opponent just have to have 5 or less life altogether. So really, really nice card there. Glad to see that they're going to be reprinting this. And then we have Bonney. This is a card from all the way back in the starter decks. Like, this is from Block 1. And this card was approaching like $3 or $4, I think even $5 for just a searcher, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it only got to $2 or $3, but it's good to see that they're reprinting this because this will drive the price down. It'll make it more available for the newer players getting into the game. And for the old school, the veteran players who are just trying to bling out their, whatever their favorite deck is that runs Bonney, you'll be able to get an alt-art version of the card now. Very nice. Okay, then we have this 5 cost 7k Crocodile. I don't even know what he does off the top of my head. Let me type in Croc and go to blue. Okay, it's this one right here. It's a 5 cost 7k. During your turn on play, if your leader type includes Cross Guild or Baroque Works, place up to one of your opponent's power 2,000 or lower characters on the bottom of its owner's deck. Hey, it is a 5 cost cross guild character, but I don't think it's great. It does not have a counter. I almost wish it was a 5 cost 6k with a 1k counter over being a 7k. Then I think it would have been a little bit more usable. But Buggy's list is already becoming pretty tough to fit cards into, and I don't think this is going to make the final cut. But still, it's still very good to see these promos being reprinted in PRB sets, so it's easier to get our hands on them. Okay, good stuff here. Then we have Black Hole. This is the 4 cost event for Blackbeard Pirates that can negate the effects of a card, and then it KOs a 4 or less. So really good stuff here. And then we have Buggy. This is the 1 cost, 3,000 power, no counter, event searcher, red Buggy that is immune to slash attribute characters, or I should say slash attribute attacks. See, look at this card, guys. Let's bring this up over here real quick. This Buggy cannot be KO'd. This character cannot be KO'd when battling slash attribute characters and leaders. Seems good, right? Seems really, really solid. Okay, well, that's about it, guys. I think that's all the cards there. Yep, going back to the beginning, and that is it for all the spoilers and all that good stuff. So, guys, there's a lot of good cards coming out. Just to recap, I'll tell you guys what I think real quick. The TLDR version here. This new Luffy is going to be very annoying to play against, slowing you down in the early game. This Lucky Rube was a much-needed card for anything running red for card draw. Big fan of this card here. This Ace Sabo and Luffy I'm not a huge fan of, but I think it's still a solid utility 2k counter. This Bonney, great universal green card here. 3 cost blocker that stands at dawn is active, which is becoming more and more important as we see more of the 1 cost 3k counter events. Mr. 3 Galdino, just a nice, it's like a vanilla blocker, a 2 cost blocker vanilla, but like 2.0, so not too bad here. And then Nami, this is just a great searcher for purple straw hats. Nothing too bad going on here. No real downside to this card, right? Shiryu, again, we're starting to see some blockers now that kind of fight back, right? These cards bite back here. It's like I'm going to block your attack and remove a character on the board, and I'm going to be hard to deal with because it's a 4 cost 5k that goes up to 8 cost. Seems really good. This Otama, not the most universal card to run, that's for sure, but I think it might find a few spots here and there in a few different decks where it could potentially shine, like Blue Yellow Ace. And then the reprints over here for Zoro, Usohachi, the 1 cost searcher event for Red Hair Pirates, the promo Law, Bonney, promo Croc, the Black Hole, and Buggy. Really good stuff here. All right, that's it, guys. That's it for today's video. Let me get the outro page on here. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys are looking forward to some of these new cards. I know they're a little ways away. Be patient. We'll get there eventually, and I cannot wait to be caught up with the East. Okay, that's it, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, if you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, or using my TCG Player affiliate link, or whatever you're doing to help me out and to help out the community, I really, really appreciate it, guys. If you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, Playmat supporters, YouTube members, Discord community, again, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. It means a lot. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.